It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and there's a renewed push to raise awareness about mental health resources that are available.
Yeah, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, men die by suicide at a rate nearly 4 times higher than women. They also represent 80% of suicide deaths, which comes out to more than 100 every day. Joining us now is former NBA player and current mental health advocate for Counslr, John Wallace. Hi, John. Thanks for being with us.
How you guys doing? Appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you've been doing concerning men's mental health.
Well, my friend Nigel, who's a part of Counslr, the mental health app, reached out to me about 2 years ago and told me what his friend Roy had going on with the Counslr app. I sat down at dinner with them, listened to everything, and it was just it was an easy decision to hop on board immediately that night and trying to open up some doors for them to get the word out there, because you know, when you got NBA players walking out of a game during the game because of mental health issues, and you got other athletes and other celebrities who are now coming out talking about it, it's something that needs to be addressed, and we're trying to address that through the mental health app called Counslr.
Yeah, we just heard some of those statistics there. Why do you think that there is such an ongoing problem when it comes to mental health and that so many people are suffering?
Well, I think the stigma, which has kind of been taken away a little bit, but the stigma is still there, especially with men. That's why it's a higher rate amongst men. Men, you know, you're supposed to be the provider for your family. You're supposed to, you know, you have all these burdens on you in terms of trying to be a man and trying to carry out what you got to do for your family, yourself. And if you're not kind of coming through on that in terms of fulfilling for those the needs for your family, fulfilling the things that you need for yourself, you start feeling down and not feeling like the man you're supposed to be. When you start feeling like that, you feel down, and that's when you feel like there's no hope, kind of. And we're just trying to alleviate those kind of feelings, let you know there's someone that you can talk to, there's someone that can talk you through this, because we all go through hard times. I don't know anyone, and I know all walks of life, from billionaires and millionaires to people who are struggling, and they all go through rough times. That's no one's impervious to going through rough times, and that's where we're trying to put the word out now about that.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. And John and Terrence, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to men and boys especially, it seems to start a lot younger when we tell boys to be tough, don't cry, shake it off. What are you doing, John, to try to change that message with younger men?
Well, I'm trying to, you know, make sure I'm not following the same footsteps that I did when I was younger, because I was a young father, and I was that kind of father, telling my boys to toughen up and be tough about things, and not being as sensitive as I should, like I would with my daughters. So I've made that change in terms of trying to treat my sons the same way I would treat my daughters, in terms of being more affectionate and being more willing to talk about things. So I'm talking to young kids about that now, about you don't always have to be so tough in terms of trying to have a facade. If something's bothering you, talk about it. Talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to your coach, talk to your teacher, but talk to someone. And if you can't talk to one of them, and if you're old enough and you know you can reach out to a therapist, then you try to talk to a therapist. But there's a lot of resources out here now besides your family and friends that you can talk to that can possibly help you when you're in a crisis situation.
Yeah, it's important to get it out. Since you've rolled this project out and have been having those conversations, is there anything at all that's surprised you that you're hearing from some of the participants?
No, you know, they're just happy that there's an outlet. They're so happy that there's a platform that they can go to. And from our research, we realized that the younger kids, they would prefer to text. And it's easier for them to text and to communicate that way. They actually prefer that. So the mental health app that we have, Counselor, helps them communicate in a way that they don't have to, you know, going to an office and talk to someone face to face. They don't have to let anyone really know their business, because it's kind of discreet. You can get some help. You can be right in the same room with someone as you're texting your therapist for a little help. So I think that's the biggest component of the mental health app Counselor, is that you can do it discreetly. You don't have to worry about someone's, you know, whatever they might feel about mental health. Like some people are are for it. Some people are against it, you know. But if you're doing it discreetly, it's just at your own discretion, and no one's, you know, unless you let them know, no one can be involved in your business, right? So when you're able to go to your therapist and you're able to reach out to them as many times you want on that, there's no limit. You can reach out to them 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. It's all the same cost. So I think one of the problems with the therapists that people are trying to go and see in person, A, they're booked. All the good therapists are booked, and B, the cost. So we're trying to take some of those hurdles out of the equation for people.
And John, I'm glad you brought that up about cost, because before we let you go, I wanted you to please share with us, how do people access the app and what should they expect in signing on?
Well, right now we're only providing it for businesses, companies, schools. It's not for individuals yet. We're working on that. We'll be talking to some mayors hopefully about trying to implement the whole app for the city itself. But right now, we're going into schools, universities. We got some business corporations that are signing on. We have 15,000 kids on the platform right now, so we're definitely getting some traction. We have some great charter schools in the Bronx that have signed on. It's been awesome, and we're trying to come out to the Midwest now too. So we're trying to get some traction, you know, everywhere we can. Once we have the conversation, once we're able to talk to a superintendent or a principal, it's an easy sell. So we're just trying to, you know, open up more doors so we can get it out there and get the word out about the Counselor app.
All right, John, we're looking forward to seeing you expand. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.